It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Tim Conway Jr. Show. Mark Thompson sitting in for Tim in the 6 o'clock hour. If you're a Johnny Carson fan, remember Johnny Carson? Was that too long ago? We've got people on our staff who literally don't know who Johnny Carson was. Shameful. It's a media cultural history you should all be aware of. How dare you work in this business and not know the history of The Tonight Show? But for many, the whole thing started with Jay Leno. Anyway, prior to Jay, there was a guy named Johnny Carson, and there was one guy, probably more than one, but this one obsessive fan has started a podcast all about Johnny Carson and has a book out now called Love Johnny Carson. We'll talk to him in the 6 o'clock hour. Right now to Santa Monica, where Waymo has been told, knock it off at night. The city council unanimously telling Waymo to halt overnight charging operations at 2 Santa Monica locations. There were complaints from residents about noise and traffic congestion. This is not the first time that Waymo has run into this. I know in San Francisco, there were all kinds of issues with the Waymo lot, which is surrounded by apartment buildings. And the Waymo lot is where the Waymo cars go to get charged, where they go to collect as various shifts change. And remember, Waymos are driverless. So these cars are navigating these lots without drivers manning the cars. And all the beeping sounds that you normally hear when a car is backing up or when a car is maneuvering, they are going on in this lot in San Francisco 24 hours a day. And so the people who live in the apartments that encircled that lot, they got angry. They argued to the city. It became a huge thing. Now, a version of that is happening in Santa Monica. And as I said, the city council has just unanimously approved this directive after months of nuisance complaints from residents near the Waymo stations to knock off and tell Waymo to knock off the overnight charging.
The obvious question is, if it's all automated, there's nobody in this lot, and these cars could just keep pulling in, moving around, back in and stuff like that. They're automated vehicles. They're all electronic. Why not turn the sound off?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the sound for if there's nobody around?
Thank you. That's exactly what they need. They need a
Seems
setting.
like a simple solution.
Yeah. It can even be, geolocated or geo-triggered. So when they pull onto the lot, it automatically turns off all the beeping and humming.
And they could do that essentially anywhere at that point. If, like you said, they geolocated any neighborhood or anything like that, turn off the sound.
Yeah, the problem probably comes, but this is the issue about the humming and the beeping. Okay, so Crozier's on to exactly what their issue is. So the residents are going, this is going on all the time, this humming and beeping sound. The problem might come, and I'm just guessing, that there are people manning the lot in some way, doing something at the lot, and if there are people there, they need to hear the car in reverse or coming toward them. This is my guess.
That's such a flimsy argument. Like, truly. You gotta, they just can't be told, hey, don't be in the lot without looking around.
Well, in July, Waymo had said that they had implemented several mitigation measures to address this, because these arguments about the noise have been coming in for months and months and months, predating July. So they said, hey, we're going to lower the vehicle's reversing noise while in the autonomous mode and reduce traffic congestion in the alleyway. Employees were also instructed, apparently, to avoid loud talking or music on the lots and to keep vehicle cleaning confined to daytime hours. So they were trying to do something, supposedly, Waymo, but it sounds to me like it's not just a car-centric problem. It sounds like the employees were maybe making some noise that the residents around the lot weren't too keen on. Waymo issuing this statement: we provide tens of thousands of rides each week in Santa Monica. We are committed to continue to operate and invest in the city. We've been engaging with the city since day one of our operations, and we are committed to working with them to be responsive to our neighbors. So, for the moment, however, they are instructed by unanimous vote to halt overnight charging operations at 2 of their Santa Monica locations. Waymo, meantime, has been approved to come to Santa Clarita. That's right. Not specific about when it will happen. They'll have to apply for certain permitting before they can become totally greenlit. But it looks like they will be able to deploy their autonomous vehicles in Santa Clarita. Large portion of Southern California is going to be served by Waymo. Have you been in a Waymo car, Crozier?
I have not.
No, I've been in many of them.
Really?
Yeah, because I was in San Francisco. I used to do a radio show in San Francisco, go back and forth, L.A., San Francisco. So I spent a lot of time in San Francisco, and that's where they, I think, really, caught.
So you have a lot of anecdotal evidence.
I do.
Have you had issues, or has everything always been smooth?
I have to say, it's pretty sweet, man. They show up. They have your little name or initials on the top of kind of like where the bubble of a police cruiser might be, and unless the door isn't open unless you are the guy that actually summoned that Waymo.
Phone?
Yeah, they use your phone. Exactly. And so you can put a little selection on there saying open as I approach, or you can have the selection remain off so that you have to enter a code, I think, as it
Oh,
is
that's
to open
nice.
it.
I like that.
Yeah, so it doesn't automatically, so no one can just like jump you behind, from behind. It's pretty cool. It's not without some aspects that you may not like. For example, it can't pick you up just anywhere, and it can't drop you off just anywhere. It has to be, but that is also something that is true with Uber and Lyft, and taxis. They can't just pick you up anywhere or drop you off anywhere.
You don't get the conversation.
Yeah, I said to Courtney as we got in, I said, do you want me to do the driver conversation for you? I'd be happy. So, where are you guys from? Yeah. So, where are you guys headed
doing
tonight?
in town?
Yeah.
Hey, business pleasure.
So, if you don't like that kind of small talk thing, it's probably perfect for you.
Sign me up.
You can set the temperature of the car. You can set the music in the car. You can do all that stuff. They have the adjustments.
I think there are some areas where it's conducive to have that Waymo aspect. But personally, for like New Orleans, I got to have that person driving because that's when the personalities come in. And it's like I got a ride from the airport into the French Quarter. You have those conversations with those drivers, and they took me to places like before they got to my stop. I said, hang on, stopped at a market, and he got me some pralines just to here you go.
That's very cool.
So you lose that personal aspect of it. It just makes things colder.
Yeah, that I can see that, and there is an aspect of social interaction that's really special. Sadly, sometimes, and this is also true in San Francisco, I like to support the cab companies, and I do this in LA too. And I've told Tim this. We have various stories of trying to support the cabs, over just Uber and Lyft, where I feel like they're losing a lot of business. But man, you get into those cabs, and sometimes they're trashed. The person can't speak English at all. I mean, it just can be really rough. And again, this is not I'm with you, cabbies. I'm trying to support you. So I know this isn't representative of everybody, but I'm just saying it would be nice if there was some basic standard whereby you needed to be rated, just the same way passengers have to be rated in Uber and Lyft. I think that rating system on some level does keep people honest. But if you want to get rid of all the humans, Waymo does a respectable job. It really does. And now, again, you can look for it to roll in Santa Clarita, San Diego. It's beginning to take more and more territory and, sadly, more and more jobs away from people who could use those jobs and probably do a really nice job as drivers. So, KFI AM 640, Mark Thompson here for Tim Conway Jr. We're heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Happy Thanksgiving. Tim comes back next week.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. On Demand from KFI AM 640.
What's up, party people? KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Mark Thompson sitting in for Tim Conway Jr. Got Crozier. Crozier, I saw on your Facebook something really heartbreaking. Is it one of your cats or both of your cats? It looked like one was definitely...
Yeah, one. It's basically my daughter Sydney's cat we had to put down on Saturday.
Oh, my God. I read it's heartbreaking. I have trouble even reading this stuff. I get so emotional about these animals, and especially this one seemed like she was young or he was young. It was a boy or a girl?
Yeah, Juno was 5 years old.
So that's young. That's super young.
Really young, and he had a sister who had passed away at just a year old, and that cat was Cleo was adopted by Jen's daughter Samantha. And she was only a year old when she passed away, got really just thin, emaciated, wouldn't eat, and just kind of basically wasted away till we had to euthanize her at 1 year. And it just killed Samantha. And at the time, right around 2020, basically, the vets couldn't explain what was wrong with her or what ended up, causing us to, help to put her down and put her out of her misery. They chalked it up to cat COVID.
No.
And we never really completely had a clarity on it, but a few weeks ago, Juno, her older brother, who Sydney ended up adopting, he started kind of coming up with the same sort of things, and it got just really emaciated, stopped eating, and we got him an ultrasound last week, and Sydney put up a GoFundMe, and listeners here, they help contribute with great thoughts and donations, and Sydney was able to get him an ultrasound, and they found that he had cancer. And it had metastasized and spread through his body, so we had to put him down on Saturday.
Just so sad.
Yeah, and
really
it's one of those pets that like most people will have a pet in their lifetime, but very few of us get a pet that was like he was to Sydney, just completely dedicated to her and just hated all of us. Like hissed at me till the day he was gone, man. He was a hypersensitive cat to sound and stuff, so he couldn't be in a room with ceiling fans or TVs. He'd just bolt. So he was always kind of a skittish cat, I guess you could say.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Consequently, he was a lean cat, like muscular, just no fat on him because his body was always tense.
Yeah.
But I guess physically it just kind of caught up with him after a while, and we had to put him down on Saturday, and it was just...
That is just about on the one hand, it's the most merciful thing, and yet on the other hand, it's the most difficult thing.
It is. Sydney, both of those cats came into both of the girls' lives at like the perfect time to get them through, COVID, when it was just really impacting people emotionally and otherwise, and just at a young age coming out of high school, in 19, 20, you're just figuring yourself out, and you have that pet partner that, can sometimes just get so attached, and they definitely were. And she just, it was like you said, it's like she was very practical about it because she's had pets before that we've had to put down, but this one was a really rough one. She was pretty practical about it. She's just like, I just want to get through this process.
Oh my God, she's so mature and so smart that way. I mean, the thing is, it's as you've suggested, sort of a stability in her life. That bond during COVID gets her through so much. There's almost the backbeat of her life is this creature.
That age too, when you're trying to figure things out, who are you? What do you want to do? And a lot of times it can be a very sort of isolationist feeling, for a person and a kid. And when you have something like that, like a pet that is completely dedicated to you, it's just
and then
amplifies it.
The thing that you mentioned, which is that you have to raise money to do the ultrasound because everything's so GD expensive at the, I mean, it's really so damn expensive at these animal hospitals, and the veterinary world is sadly populated by, I think, a lot of people who are trying to do good things, vets who are trying to do good things, but they're in a system that just will squeeze you dry.
And when you're in that moment of in a vet's office or something like that, where they're telling you, this is it, these are your options, what do you want to do? And it's just, you're looking at, it's such a horrible, gross thing to put a price on an animal's life or your happiness or that comfort or just wanting to know, and that's kind of what a lot of this was. It became more and more clear that he was on a downward slide that probably wasn't going to be reversed. So it literally became a matter of how much do we try to figure out what's wrong and then what we can do from there, if anything?
Right. Like, when do you do what you have to do, the inevitable? I mean, what is the amount of palliative care that you provide, and how expensive is that? And, you hate that expense factors into it. But this just in, it factors into people's lives. I mean, that's the sad part.
Yes.
In our country, you can go bankrupt just trying to get the medical care that you need to address whatever issue you have. And the same is true with animals.
Yeah. When we had the remote on Friday at Smart and Final in Yorba Linda, Sydney went Jen went with Sydney to take Juno to the vet to get a clearer picture on what the options were and the official sort of diagnosis of what was going on with him. And Sydney and I had the conversation before I went to work out in Yorba Linda that day. I said, well, what are your thoughts on tonight? Because, again, knowing that the inevitable of having to put him down was coming, she was like, I might have to do it tonight. But the vet was supposed to be open on Saturday. So she was like, okay, I want to wait one more night and then have you go with me on Saturday. And I was like, okay, whatever you want. There are no wrong answers here. You're going to do what's best in the way that you feel. In the middle of the remote, she called me up, and it was that vet was not open the next day.
Oh, my God.
And she was having, in that moment, to decide, what do I do? They said, there's nobody going to be available until like early next week, this week. And she said, he's not going to make it that long.
Oh, that's so sad.
And she was just like, I really don't want to put him down tonight, but they're not open. I said, there are other vets and availabilities for tomorrow on Saturday. If you want, look them up. And if you really want me to go and you want one more night with him. And she was like, okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. So having that clarity of someone, to kind of talk it through helped a lot. But that was a rough call right in front of like 150, 200 people at Smart and Final. I had to turn around, but it's being put in that position is just horrible. Like you said, the financial aspects of it.
Yeah, the financial, the emotional, and it's, in your case, it's the emotion wrapped up in her emotion. It's really got to be something difficult. You're such a good dad, man.
You're kidding.
Really.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, really, really special
and
relationship.
thank you to a couple people that, even at the remote that kind of approached me afterwards and asked about how Juno was doing. And I just said, it's just not good. It's times like that when how people feel, but just hearing it from people and people putting out there that they're thinking about your prayers or however they want to, support you emotionally. It's the silver lining in the crap situations like this.
Sure. It's so gratifying to know people care. Yeah. Well, we've got a remote of our own. It'll be a week from tonight. And it'll be going on all day, actually, the 15th annual KFI Pastathon. And if you've never been to a Pastathon before, you're in for a treat. Chef Bruno's charity, Katerina's Club, more than 25,000 meals provided every week to kids in need in Southern California. Your generosity makes it happen. Our live broadcast, as I say, going on all day, Tuesday, December 2nd, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Anaheim White House, 887 South Anaheim Boulevard. And we will do a special remote that will extend this show by an extra hour. 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Anaheim White House. We'll see you a week from tonight. Chef Bruno's charity, Katerina's Club. And I have two cats that aren't doing too well. Maybe you want to help me out the way you help Crozier out. I'm just saying. I don't need a GoFundMe yet. No? Was that tone deaf to sorry. Excuse me, it's okay for Crozier to pitch, but it's not okay for me to pitch.
Read the room.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Tim Conway Jr.'s show. Mark Thompson sitting in for Tim. And nurses are angry. Yeah. Nurses are mad about being reclassified.
Nurses revolt. Coast to coast, nurses are expressing outrage after they are no longer being considered a profession.
On my degree, it says registered professional nurse.
Emily Spenlove is an ICU nurse. How has this left you feeling?
Especially since our country has experienced something recently, such as the pandemic, and being labeled in the media as like healthcare heroes. And then going from that to less than a decade later being labeled as not even a professional, I would describe it as a slap in the face.
That's America. What have you done for us lately? The pandemic was years ago. Now we're recharacterizing everything.
It all has to do with how the one big beautiful bill changes the nation's student loan system. By not being recognized as professionals, nurses are limited on how much they can borrow to pursue their graduate degree.
Yeah, this is really what it's about. It's not about, how you feel about what society's calling you. This is about money.
By not being recognized as professionals, nurses are limited on how much they can borrow to pursue their graduate degree. The cap, $100,000. The concern is that this could lead to an even greater nursing shortage.
This could put the nursing profession and the future of nursing kind of in danger. It is deterring a lot of current nurses from pursuing advanced practice nursing degrees as well.
The problem with that is we have a nursing shortage in this country. So, again, the shoe pinches sort of in the wrong place because you need these nurses out there. We need way more than we have.
It's really hurtful.
26-year-old Tessa McDonald is a pediatric ICU nurse.
I just don't understand how that wouldn't be professional. Everyone wants a nurse who knows what they're doing, who's kind and compassionate.
One of the most trusted professions is nursing. We are the backbone of healthcare.
The Department of Education.
It really is true. And sadly, I think the disposition society has toward nurses, just the way that nurses are viewed, valued, etc., hasn't changed. What's changed is a governmental posture toward nurses, and that is about money, as I say. So I don't think, the recharacterization or recategorization, renaming, recategorizing nursing, that's a money thing. It's got nothing to do with the way society actually sees those in the nursing profession. Everything that the nurses say, every way in which they're valued, continues to be the way they're valued. What you're seeing here is a shuffling of columns and people over to a different column that will affect them financially.
The Department of Education tells us they are trying to prompt nursing schools to lower the cost of tuition, adding that it's not a value judgment about the importance of nurses. They also say that the loan limits do not apply to undergraduate programs.
Yeah, they're trying to change the ways in which and the amount of money involved in nursing education. And again, this is a professional degree allows you a certain amount of financing on that degree, and it allows you certain interest rates in that financing, and it affects hundreds of thousands of students. There are over 250,000 students enrolled in bachelor programs in nursing. In this country, over 250,000 people this affects. So, and that's not, there are associate degrees in nursing. There are other degrees that are adjacent to the Bachelor of Science degrees. So, when you add it all up, it's over 300,000 students that are affected by this. So this is a big deal, and there should be pushback on it. But you're going to see a lot in the way of these loans and other loans when it comes to education being recharacterized and reshuffled and privatized. That's sort of the way this is all working. And it's working alongside the dismantling of the Department of Education, too, right? But remember, we're talking about pharmacy, dentistry, optometry, veterinary medicine, osteopaths, podiatrists. These are all nursing professions. So this is not, this is not just nothing. This affects a whole lot of people. So, to be continued. It's the Tim Conway Jr. Show. A week from tonight, we'll be on the air live from the Anaheim White House. It's the Pastathon. Be part of it. Come visit us. We're in Anaheim at the Anaheim White House. The address is 887 South Anaheim Boulevard. The Pastathon has been an annual tradition here at KFI for 15 years. And it is getting bigger every year. If you want to be part of it, but you can't actually physically be there, you can donate anytime. KFIAM640.com/Pastathon. 100% of your donation goes to Katerina's Club. Thompson for Conway on KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere. What's that?
I was just going to say, just remember, like you said, if you can't be there, man, and you can't do anything on online, the chances are there's going to be a Wendy's or a Smart and Final anywhere around you. And you can go in there and make a donation.
So true. Yeah. And, you'll get a coupon book and at Wendy's.
Yeah.
And there are also bids that you can, and I won't do this right now, but a little bit later, I'll tell you, you can bid on auction items, and I think you can bid online. So you can bid on these, it's like a date with Bill Handel and Neil Saavedra, like a barbecue with Neil. I saw that was one of them. That
yeah, it's that one and the co-hosting with Cobelt.
Yeah, now I have to see this. Yeah, here it is. Co-host an hour with John Cobelt. That is very cool. They say John hates this idea, but we love it. You can co-host an hour with John Cobelt. We pick the topics, and you get to rant with John about the issues of the day. Just make sure you drink enough caffeine to keep up with John. The minimum bid's $1,000. You can co-host an hour with John Cobelt. Go to a Dodgers game with Gary and Shannon in a suite. A Dodgers game with Dean and Tina Sharp in a suite. A coaching Zoom one-on-one relationship session with Dr. Wendy. Wow.
And our very own Angel Martinez, she's throwing up some naughty sandals up there to bid on.
Yes, the custom sandal kit. And that's pretty cool. And the Let's Go to Las Vegas package. These are all things that you can bid on.
And if you've never gone to that, where you can go to Pastathon and just do a search online, you can find it really easy. If not that sort of stuff, there's a ton of other stuff on here that's like small stuff that you can do as well.
Pretty cool. And as I said, a private backyard barbecue with Bill Handel and Lindsay Handel and Neil Saavedra. Very, very cool. All right, it's Pastathon. We'll see you, I hope, next week. But if we don't see you, please do support this great effort. KFI AM640.com/Pastathon.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
It is the Tim Conway Jr. Show. Yes, KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Tim's away for the holiday. Mark Thompson sitting in. There's a 50 Cent Diddy doc to be released in December. Netflix announcing the release date for a new documentary series about Sean Diddy Combs, executive produced by 50 Cent.
You can't continue to keep hurting people and nothing ever happens. Just a matter of time.
Oh, man. I guess that's the... Is that the trailer, Richie? Is that
it was like a little snippet, just teasing it.
Yeah, right. You can't continue to treat people like that and not expect that,
And nothing ever happens.
Yeah, there you go. And nothing ever happens. Bad stuff coming. Wow. Cashing in on Diddy.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going to, inform us with that we already don't know. Like, I just know that they hate each other.
Apparently.
And 50's just dragging him all the way down.
Yeah. I still think it's very possible that Diddy could get that, I don't know if he still calls himself Diddy now. I don't know. Although it is it called Diddy? What's it called? It's called Sean Combs, The Reckoning, it's called.
You can't continue to keep hurting people.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
Just a matter of time.
The Reckoning. All right, so...
They should call it The Wrecking.
They should. Everyone that Combs touched got wrecked. I still think it's possible, I was going to say, that Donald Trump could pardon him. He's in a pardoning way. Did you see he pardoned those turkeys today? Did the traditional turkey pardon? Yeah. So they'll go on. I don't know how that works. They go on and live in a sanctuary. They live out.
They're being sent to North Carolina State University to live out the rest of their lives.
All right. Yeah. Well, I hope that works out for them.
I think it already has.
Yeah, they've certainly done better than the rest. I always felt that's weird. I'm a kind of an animal guy and, vegan and all that stuff. But I always felt like there's a little like, Lincoln freeing 2 of the slaves. You know what I mean? It's just a bit. Right. I get it. It's good for them, but everybody else is pretty much still pretty well screwed.
Well, and those turkeys are always the fattest turkeys you've ever seen.
They
so
look good. Yeah.
Are they specifically fattening them up to not do this?
Oh yeah. If they come from those farms and they do breed them to sort of accentuate.
Where did the turkeys come from? That's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. Pretty crazy. If you're traveling, the germs are on the loose. There are ways to protect yourself.
We met up with pediatrician Dr. Tanya Altman at Air Hollywood in Los Angeles. What do you do before you get on a plane to keep yourself healthy?
So before I get on the plane, I like to make sure I'm really hydrated. So I usually travel with electrolyte packets and a water bottle, and I make sure that I drink plenty before I get on.
She says as soon as you take your seat, wipe everything down.
Don't forget the sides and anything you're going to touch, the armrests.
She says don't over.
But this is Courtney all over. She doesn't travel with electrolyte packs, which is, I'm very impressed by that. But Courtney sits down in the seat like a hazmat crew would sit down in the seat. She has wipes already out, wipes down all surfaces, armrests, the tray table, anything that could possibly make contact with her, she wipes it down with these wet ones that are, antiseptic wipes. I sit down and I don't wipe down anything, but she's made me a little paranoid. But apparently, this is what's recommended if you want to try to stay healthy through the holidays and with all the holiday travel.
Your seat, wipe everything down.
Don't forget the sides and anything you're going to touch, the armrests.
She says don't overlook the window and seat pocket too.
So I always travel with sanitizing wipes. You don't have to bring such a big container. You can put some in a little Ziploc bag.
Here's something that could help your immune system. She recommends a window seat.
But it's actually better to sit near the window because less traffic walking by you, less people breathing and coughing near you.
Wow, I never would have thought of that. Really? Gosh, man, I hate sitting by the window, Yeah. I'm an aisle guy all the way.
Yeah. I'll get up.
Me too. I don't want to have to walk past somebody to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, have to, excuse me, do you mind if I get up? And then you do this thing, or I do anywhere. I go, well, I don't want to ask. Maybe when the person gets up, I'll get up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. It's just, it's lame. So,
yeah,
but,
I'll wait till they come back if they get up, and then then I'm on the look. As I see him walking down the aisle, that's when I get up.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
Because that would just be weird if I got up right after they did.
But who knows?
Where you're going? Let's go together.
I was hoping you'd ask. But apparently you take a greater risk sitting on that aisle.
Because less traffic walking by you, less people breathing and coughing near you.
Where you want to be.
So there's actually fewer germs.
And keep that air vent on.
I think turning the air vent on so it's blowing right in front of you will help decrease the amount of germs that could blow into your face.
Another thing Dr. Altman recommends, using a saline nasal spray.
Saline in your nose can help moisturize, keep your nasal passages moist, and maybe flush out any illness.
And don't forget a mask and hand sanitizer, too.
Anytime I touch anything on the plane, I'm also going to sanitize my hands because that's how germs usually enter your body.
Great tips that will ensure healthy traveling this holiday.
Stay healthy.
I find it a little weird how it's like, the germs an inch over aren't going to get to you.
Yeah, I also like the idea of something that you have that blower on. She should keep the fan on. That way the germs will stay away from your face. They will.
In a tube.
Yeah, you're in it, and you're blowing. They just circulate. They recirculate.
Yeah, you're keeping those germs alive and making them move further.
I mean, I don't know. The physics of air maybe is something we could review, but some of the other tips I thought might have been worth something. I don't know. Some of them kind of questionable, but anyway, now you know. Take what you want from that for your travel plans through the holidays. Tim Conway Jr. Show. Mark Thompson sitting in.
Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.